Back again, man, with Gems on Gems. We got another episode for the Come Up channel. So today's guest is an Oklahoma Baptist alumni that graduated with a degree, a Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary with emphasis in computer science and communication studies. He played running back for Oklahoma Baptist, and to put the cherry on top, he just accomplished his dream of becoming a software developer, where he specializes in web development, but also has some knowledge in data analysis. That's how you say data analysis and mobile development. Welcome, Chris, man.
H Town, man.
Hey, let's get
Yeah.
to it, man. But this is kind of something new I'm doing right here, which is on a time set. It's going to be called Today Expectations. So, what I mean by that, um, I want to provide you with the what and the why. The what being what we're going to cover in this episode, which is going to be Chris's childhood, in which he'll reveal some things he's kept secret, but slowly has just been opening up to talk about, right? From there, we're going to talk into his mom leaving to the States for a better life for him, for her, and for Chris. From there, we're going to jump into his sports career in high school and college. His high school years are going to set the tone, meaning seeing the relentless work he was putting in to be better at his craft, just having that beast mode mindset to not quit, and then getting moved up to varsity junior year and eventually getting the starting spot. Finally, the why. Well, if you're an athlete with ambition to start but is struggling, this is for you. If you want to know more about life as a college athlete, this is for you. And finally, if you're on the brink of quitting a sport or profession and need some motivation, we got you. This is for you. So,
Man.
cool, man. That's kind of set expectations. Chris, let's start off, man, with building the foundation with growing up. So, let's start with the basics, meaning when and where you were born. And also, like I was kind of alluding to, some things you kept secret but are opening up to sharing.
Right. Hey, man. First of all, like, big shout out to you, boss. Like, for real. Hey, man. Day one right there. Since high school, man, we grew up together. So, a big shout out to you, buddy. Yeah, man. Going back to since I was a jit. Grew up, was born in Monrovia, Liberia. So a little international kid. But yeah, was born in Liberia. For the most part, because of the civil war and stuff in Liberia, I moved around to Paris, France, or Ivory Coast. So with that being said, growing up in most of it, it's crazy to say now, but my first language is French, was French. Something that not a lot of people knew and stuff. But yeah, so I was a little bit of a come up. For the most part, like I said, when I went to France and Ivory Coast and stuff. It was my grandma taking me there because of the war in Liberia again. Um, and yeah, came back to fast forward, came back to Liberia around I think '06, '07. Still with my grandparents for a little bit. Unfortunately, my grandmom and my granddad passed in that order. And then yeah, it was to the U.S. in 2010, to H Town. That's home,
Yeah,
man.
man. And that's crazy because like when you first told me that, I actually just realized that when we had offline talks because I like to, pre-interview with guests and stuff. And you're like, man, yeah, my first language is French. And I'm like, I was blown away. I was like, dude, you're very good at keeping secrets because I've known you since middle school. And even though we weren't like, buddies, I still knew you nonetheless. And also I would never have like picked up on it. You know what I mean? So it was like very good on your part for just keeping that under wraps. But and I also want to ask, like, how would you describe yourself as a kid? Were you very energetic? Were you quiet? Were you shy? Just who was Chris as a youngin?
Right, as a jit, I would say really not just athletic but energetic. So it wasn't like what I'm saying jumping around and getting on people's nerves and shit. It was for the most part of always active playing sports. Internationally, number one sport is soccer. So I grew up playing soccer. That's another stuff that not a lot of people may have known about unless I what I'm saying, said it. But yeah, playing soccer, always going out to the older dudes, you know what I'm saying? Jumping up there, here and there, playing soccer, getting active, just running around Liberia. And so for yeah, so I mean that's what it was growing up, and also that competitive mindset. It was like back in, of course, back in Liberia, it was kind of like, what I'm saying, like hey, get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Get out there, compete. Um, Funny story when I used to grow up, there's this little game we used to play that, you know what I'm saying, after a while, um, let's say one team is doing better than the other, whatever the case is, there's this thing called miss the ball, kick the boom. Exactly what it sounds like. You from Liberia and listen to this, you know what that is. Like, so literally if you, let's say I was doing too good, whatever I got on the end of this so many times, adults, whatever the case is, they will literally miss the ball near you and just wipe you out. So as a J, I remember a lot of times I'll be crying, whatever the case is, because I'm getting kicked by the older dudes. But hey, you know, all that stuff makes you. So you're
Made you tougher for sure, man. Most definitely. And then also when you did come to the States, you were sort of I want to put that on you, but you the way you had mentioned you were sort of picked on for your accent. With this, it'd be interesting actually to know um, whether this was your first introduction to quote unquote bullying, and seeing as though you were young, how did that affect you mentally, if at all?
yeah, man, uh, I haven't really thought a lot about this, but yeah, like you said, you know, whether it was getting picked on a little bit, that oh my God, he talks different or something like that. You know, it was something that I guess my mindset, I didn't really like take it too personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was getting made fun of, but it wasn't to the extreme level. Like, I didn't let it get to me to the extreme level where I thought about harming myself, whatever the case was. Um, I guess I just put in other ways where instead I'll probably like turn up on the field or something, or running track. I'll be number one, number two, or something. You know what I'm saying? So I just found other ways to kind of go into it so I can kind of like tune out that noise. Because if I'm scoring X amount of touchdowns and you still making fun of me, like at a certain time, that ain't gonna be funny no more. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that I guess that's kind of a way, you know, I kind of went into the
Yeah, 100%, man. And since you're opening up a little bit, I'm gonna open up a little bit too. This probably I've opened up a little bit in my past podcast, but probably not as much with what I'm about to say right now, which is in middle
breaking
school, man.
news.
Huh?
I said breaking news.
Yes, sir, for Chris maybe. But what's crazy, man, is in middle school, and this is why as a kid, even as an adult, but more so as a kid, you have to be careful what you tell kids because they'll believe it. And what I mean by that is my parents kind of made me almost believe that I was really shy. And it started to stick with me to the point, man, where it's like in middle school, like I was saying, like I was getting called tomato face, right? Because if anybody would talk to me like a girl, like it may have not have been like a big conversation at all, nothing crazy. Or if a
Right.
teacher started talking to me, like, or they're like, hey, Ryan, like you answer this question, dude, I would like freeze up. It was just crazy. So I had to slowly, as I got through the years of growing up, I had to break that agreement in my mind, and I had someone say that's not true. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that. But this one just came to mind.
No.
But what's crazy is your mother knows 7 languages. And I mean, talk about smart, man. I mean, that's freaking smart right there. Was it a passion of hers to learn so many different languages, or just what kind of was that for?
Man, it was really shout out to you know what I'm saying, her mom, really. Her mom, Ida Phantom McBore, uh rest her soul, but you know what I'm saying, my grandma knew like 16 different languages and tribes of, you know what I'm saying, whether it was German, which is great. How do you know German? Like you knew German, of course, French, you know, like different tribes in Liberia and stuff like that. So from the jet, it was that she instilled in my mom. Now, like I said, when I came back, the whole time I was with her in France and all of that, in Ivory Coast, and then coming back to Liberia, she starts teaching me stuff. Like I started learning Arabic. You know what I'm saying? Like all I know how to say in Arabic is you know, I by side die, stuff like that, or you know, counting different languages a little bit. So we didn't get to go too far in depth. You can kind of see like she had me on the track of learning various languages. So you know that's mostly where it came from, my grandma. So yeah, she put us on that for sure.
I got you, brother. And just continuing on your mother, man. So she wanted to, of course, further her education in college to get her degree, right? And she ultimately, as we kind of pinpoint so far, decided to leave Liberia and also leave your biological father and took you and her to the States. And Man, honestly, I consider that an example of one, getting out of your comfort zone and making fear not a factor at all. And luckily, like you said, your grandparents had it down of taking care of her while she was handling her business. So I'm saying all that once again just to highlight her courage, man, because it's not an easy task. But I also want to get an understanding. What was she studying, and just overall, how did that whole process of getting her degree turn out for her?
Right. So she started off with actually going computer science. So man, for real. So she got into that, got her undergrad in that, and then fast forward a little bit, my granddad came here to stay with her and stuff like that. So after she got that first degree, um, my granddad felt ill a little bit, so she wanted to learn how to take care of him, stuff like that. So then she transitioned to the healthcare field. Then that's where it went from there. You know what I'm saying? She got a master's and I don't know how many degrees she got. Because gosh, she got a master's in that, and she got another degree, like all in the healthcare arena. And then she just now, well, a couple years ago, finished a PhD in healthcare policy and advocacy. So like, so basically, that's what would serve as a catalyst for her going into healthcare from starting off with computer science.
Man, that's the epitome of a go-getter right there, man. You know what I mean? Education is forever. It doesn't stop whether you're in college or not. You're always looking to obtain more knowledge from books, from people, so whatever the case may be. So I mean, sure, if you have the means to, by all means, go get your education,
Right,
uh, go meet more people, and that's exactly what your mom did. She was setting the tone, and she was showing you like a great example of, hey, like if I can do it, you can do it, whatever the case may be. So she's setting the tone for you most definitely.
right.
So considering just obviously with how many degrees and just further education. She saw college as a way to jumpstart her life and just, like I said, further her education. Now, was education, and I would assume, right, was education the emphasis of importance, meaning she was planting that seed of education is important, and this is what you need to thrive in the world, Chris?
Right. Hey man, like so from legit since I came here at what I'm saying age 10, it was always in my mind. They always put in my mom and my dad, that Richard that we'll get to later. Like that's my dad. He ain't no like stepdad or nothing like that. That's my so when I say dad, that's what I'm referencing to. Like he they both instilled in my head that what I'm saying. Of course, you gotta go to elementary school. That's middle school. Yeah, get that out of the way. High school, like hearing. So to me, hearing that people, what I'm saying, for different reasons, and I'm not just not putting down at all by any means, but hearing people drop out of high school, it was flabbergasting. I mean, like I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, because they were like, "You ain't got no choice. You're going to high school and finish high school. When you go to college, that's like the high school." You know what I'm saying? Like, so that thing of education, and because it was like that's a way you can get out. You know what I'm saying? That's a way you can become knowledgeable. You can be a critical thinker because you have to have that in this world. And one thing my dad always said that, you get educated. I don't want you to just get educated, just stay in one place. You know what I'm saying? And get educated, that equips you to better like the world is yours type shit. That's the way you try to tell me that you get educated, you can go anywhere in the world, be able to carry yourself. So, that's kind of what they just instilled in my mind from a very young age, and just follow that path.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, and that's a perfect way to segment into my next question, which is I want to get into the role of your father, stepfather. I'm only re-mentioning that just due to the fact the audience doesn't get confused. You know what I
Right.
mean? But your father, stepfather, but the man that you consider your father, right? Um, is your father.
Mhm.
So, man, just for a man, step up for someone who isn't his, and put that same level of effort to raise you and care for you, just speaks overall volumes, right?
Right. Right.
And I'm saying all that quick glimpse to say, I actually want to give you the chance to talk more about him and just take the chance to maybe show gratitude. So if he were watching this right now, what would you tell him?
Man, I would say, Dad, you already know what it is. Like, man, appreciation can even, what I'm saying, uh, say what I feel. Me being a man, all my values and stuff, what I'm saying, knowing how to carry myself, knowing how to think critically, knowing how, when people see me and say, man. Chris, like he's a man, he's that dude. I got it mostly from him. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to, take care of my mom, or what I'm saying, because that translates over to later taking care of the female in my life. That we'll get to later. Being able to be a respectful man. Shout out to Nia, speaking of female in my life. But what I'm saying, being a respectful man, being a man that cared for his home, you know what I'm saying, being a man that can be respected, but at the same time don't gotta go woo to, what I'm saying, to earn that respect. What I'm saying, being a man who wake up early in the morning to, what I'm saying, teach me and stuff before I go to school, because I'm a little far behind because I came from Africa. And he was in the military as well. So for real, shout out to him. I mean, I'm probably after this, I'm gonna be like, man, something else I could have said about him, but for real, he already knows what's up, and people around me know what's up for sure. Because any chance I get, I bring him up, because everything I am and know now is largely because of him for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know if I was asked that question, I would be stumbled too. There's, when
Right,
you're just trying to roll it off the tongue, you
right,
can't just help but say the basic thing, which is I appreciate you, I love you, thank you so much. And of course, there's always gonna be more things to say, but the emphasis of it all is, man, thank you. Seriously, you know what I mean? That's really what you're trying to say is thank you. But hey, how could I not ask for the same feedback? So for the day one, your mother, if she sacrificed a lot for you and has stuck with you through all these years. So same thing, man. If she was watching this right now, what are you telling her?
man. Yeah, same thing. For sure. My mom, I often say, uh, backbone. You know what I'm saying? She a trailblazer. You know what I'm saying? She done fought through so many adversities. You know what I'm saying, to accomplish what she wants to accomplish. Um, from being sick and getting through stuff, whatever the case is. I'm gonna bring this kind of personal on her, but hey, I have the liberty to just say it. So she was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, right? It's just to educate people out there. Hydrocephalus is basically like having water in your brain, and something like that. Not a lot of people survive from that. She was a premature kid, so like, I think at 7 months or something like that. So stuff like that. Um, I mean, we didn't went to a couple of healthcare, professionals, and they're kind of like, "You have this stuff." Like, how are you doing these things? Like, how are you getting masters, or you got a PhD? What? Like, because of the severity of it, when someone starts to think so much, or when water starts to move in the brain, all that stuff. So that's a really serious stuff. So being able to get through all that, persevere through all of that, that strength, that determination, man, she my backbone for real.
Man, almost you about to get me emotional, man. I don't know if I'll be able to finish
Man,
the interview, man.
man, man.
No, I feel you, man. That's freaking beautiful. That's awesome, man. Definitely gonna have to short clip that, man. And, once we start pushing more short clips, just been trying to really get guests on board. But anyways, not to take away from what you just said. There's not much more, man, that I can do to top, just this topic overall. But let's just end the topic with kind of a little bit of growing up. We got an understanding of your father, and your mother. What's uh what's some memorable advice, man, that you remember from your mother and from your father that you still remember and use to this day?
Yeah, man, of course, there's so many, of course, right? So, but one of the things that I for sure, keep at the back of my mind without even thinking twice is my mom always telling me, what I'm saying, um, especially when I was getting out of high school, going to college and stuff, she always told me, like, I know you're gonna make mistakes, because like I'm her only child, so she like, I know you're gonna make mistakes. She always tried to shield me and protect me. Man, fun fact, I wasn't allowed to date till I was a sophomore at least in high school. Was not, man. Like, I tried to hide stuff, it didn't work. Like, legit, like people would talk to me and I'd be like, imagine a dude, right? Someone talking to me like, I'm not allowed to date. Like, well, how does that sound? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was all her way of trying to shield me so much. But one thing she always told me was, what I'm saying, I know you're gonna make mistakes, but just don't make detrimental mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is not a straight path. You're gonna have little bumps here and there, but just don't make something so detrimental that it's gonna hinder your growth, you know what I'm saying, what your potential could be. So that's from her. My dad, man, like, yeah, I can't really think of one, but like I said, after this conversation, I'm like everything gonna start floating. But just being a man, you know what I'm saying, just how to handle yourself, how important the education is, you know what I'm saying, how important it is to be um a good person, you know what I'm saying, someone who gives back, someone who thinks critically, don't just fall for anything, because man, this world is so crazy. The world is so crazy today, you know what I'm saying? So him teaching me to almost question everything, but question with the intention, not just the BS, but the intention to gain knowledge from it, discern from the BS and get to the point. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one thing he didn't taught me to where now, you know what I'm saying, whether it comes to social issues or politics, you know, religion, I question it before I could, you know what I'm saying, come to a decision because there's so many deceptions in this world.
That's very beautiful, man, and definitely you should question everything in life. Just in the manner that you do, because questions lead to answers, and depending on the person, it leads to a healthy debate. Why is it that you feel like this? That the answer should never be, oh, that's just how things are. It's no, it's because of this, of X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? But yeah, awesome, dude. And now that we kind of have a foundation of you, Chris, in his early years, and just how awesome his parents were, this is now where I want to get into a sports career. So once again, for this, I want to capture the hard work, dedication, struggle, because it wasn't easy per se for you to be a starter. It's not easy to be an athlete, period, honestly.
Right.
And you did two high-paced sports that require time and require your energy. But I want to dive into your soccer roots. So let's first dive into your soccer roots and how you came about playing soccer, and maybe other key details you can provide. Example, positions you played, whether starting was an issue for you, or did the sport just come natural to you?
Right, man. Yeah. So going back all the way to the roots, man. Back in Liberia, like I said, for the most part, I played all the time. I played with my cousin Donnie. You know what I'm saying, when he went out to play, so I've been with him. I was the younger cousin, so I always went out. I was the youngest in that whole group, in the whole yard. So when it was going out, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, sneak out and go, whatever the case was. Um, but for, you know what I'm saying, the whole time I was in Africa, whatever the case, I always play with people older than me. I never play with people my age. So going back to Mr. Ball kick the bone, that's kind of where it came from. Okay, if you embarrass an older dude, you finna get got. So you know what I'm saying? And then going on from there, getting come to the US, I remember when I first came in 2010, my mom was like, well, I never knew about football at that time. I mean, I saw it on TV and stuff, but I never thought about playing it. A little scrawny kid. Of course, everyone I know me. I'm not very tall, so I mean, I've always been a striker. Never really played any other position. There's either midfield, barely play wing, and striker. That's it. So came here. I was on a club team for a while. Saw them playing. Just went on a trial a little bit, whatever the case is. And the dude that owned the club, whatever, he was there. I think he was coaching. So he calls my mom. He's like, I want him to play for my team. And so now every other, I think Friday night or Saturday, we were going to play. And so without even trying to, or without even like, I'm like, okay, great. So I'm like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on that, whatever the case is, but this, he made an exception, and I was there to play. So, and then evolved from there, you know, going to middle school, being like one of three, I think sixth or seventh grade at the time, I forget, you know, to make the middle school team. So soccer always came naturally to me. So of course, that was my number one sport, and there wasn't really a time that much that I've been blessed. You know what I'm saying, that starting or playing was an issue. You know what I'm saying? Um, Maybe if we fast forward to all the way in my high school, junior, senior, or something like that, probably senior year, that I really believe I should have started and I didn't. Maybe it was because of injury, or maybe it was because of coach's decision. And that's just one of those things that, you know what I'm saying, that maybe I didn't agree with, but hey, this is how we're going. Go talk to the coach. Why am I not playing? This is why. This is what we're trying to do. This is what this person can do better. Anything is BS, but that's, you know what I'm saying, that's what we're going with. So had several instances like that, that hey, this is how we're going. Okay, you got two choices. You're gonna quit or you're gonna keep playing. And for me, it was always, never quit. So, yeah, that's soccer all in a nutshell.
And what was it about soccer that just, made you love the game?
Right. Man, my favorite club team growing up was Chelsea, is Chelsea. And just seeing them OGs, man, fun disclaimer, I don't watch soccer that much anymore because I personally think it's boring. I couldn't sit and watch a full match because I grew up watching dudes like Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba. That was my favorite player of all time, Didier Drogba. Growing up, so every time I went on the field, whatever the case was, Didier Drogba. That's what I want to be called. So them was the OGs to me. Um, so that kind of, well, of course, really got me in it. And then, getting older, seeing them guys play. So that's kind of what I try to get it after.
I got you, man. And it's probably sad to say because I'm Salvadoran and Mexican,
Uh,
but I'm not a soccer fan at all. I'll probably watch it here and there, your highlights or whatever. But
right.
man, whether it was based on yourself or players you've seen and played with, what in your eyes is key to be successful at soccer?
Great question. Man, I would say, of course, if we're talking about like playing on the field, right, you got to be conditioned. There's no if and buts about it, unless maybe like a center back or all the way back, maybe a goalkeeper, and you gotta be that much conditioned. But for sure, you definitely gotta be conditioned. And understanding how I see it more a little bit as as an art, how the game flows, like controls. Um, you gotta be in control of the game, I feel like. So I think that's key of being, and this comes with everything. This comes with both, and what I'm saying next comes with both soccer and football. As I learned watching film, knowing the tendency of your exponent. Uh, my bad, blinked out. But knowing the tendency of your opponents and stuff.
Mhm.
So my bad, English is hard. um, so knowing different stuff like that, and just for the most part, being conditioned and being in shape, and you gotta have a little skill here and there.
Yeah, man. And just to kind of tag on a little bit, shout out to my boy Gonzo from that stuff. So he played soccer as well, had soccer dreams, and he was pointing that out too. With two things I picked up from him from that was communication. You got to be able to communicate big time because you're just constantly moving, man. Like in football, you have time here and there to sub out. Soccer, you're constantly moving, which leads back to your point of conditioning. So what Chris said on top of communication, that's going to be very important as a soccer player. So if you soccer guys are thinking about playing soccer, man, that's some gems right there for you. So just kind of one more thing in regards to soccer roots, which will help us transition to your
Man,
football career.
get a pigskin.
Um, yes, sir. Did soccer make the transition to football not as hard, whether that was due to setting you up for success and how to communicate, conditioning, or maybe even leadership capabilities?
Right. I would say yes to all those. Condition for sure. I remember especially playing in high school, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we made it far in the playoffs, so I would often come from soccer. Coach Thompson would be mad. Coach Thompson would be mad sometimes. Like coming from soccer and going to football, usually I didn't weigh the same, of course, because I had to drop weight with all that running. So I was definitely for sure conditioned. Like you said, communication, just saying how just saying how the ball moved on the field and stuff, and also speed, right? So I feel like all those helped me out greatly. Another thing that I didn't even realize till um now I forgot who told me one time that, what I'm saying, just how my feet move and stuff without having footwork is like you got footwork. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's my calf, whether it's my ankle, something like that. Um so I feel like soccer definitely gets you ready for that. All the moving, all what I'm saying, twitching, whatever the case is, your quick twitch muscles. So that definitely translates with football without even me realizing it. Ankle stability, stuff like that, like I said. So that definitely helped without even me realizing it when I was playing. I had a step back and like, dang, okay, so this is how this transition. So for sure, conditioning, communication of it, you know what I'm saying, seeing the field, especially being a striker, making, knowing how to make runs based on passes, stuff like that, based on body language, knowing how to out leverage people, because of course, like I said, not the tallest. So knowing how to out leverage people sometimes when it comes to ball control, um, stuff like that definitely help and definitely transition.
Well, there you have it, man. For someone who's watching this and playing soccer, maybe you think of transitioning or playing soccer on top of, or playing football on top of soccer, and you're like, ah, man, I don't know the offensive, I don't know how defense, offense works in football. Just like Chris said, man, like you could easily translate it. You have a good foundational knowledge. Now you just got to build upon that. Now you got to learn the playbook and things like that. But that's with anything. You go into a new job, guess what? You got to learn a whole new system, right? Everything's going to be different. So that's some
Never,
good bit. That's some
never
good
shy
gems.
away, never shy away from the new, and never shy away from the new.
Exactly, man. So we got a bit we got familiar with your soccer roots. Now moving into high school, but oddly enough, you were a receiver and running back in middle school, but which I didn't know either, the receiver part. But you didn't get the gist of how to really play football or stay at the running back position till high school. So that's why I want to fast forward to high school, right?
Right, right.
And and what better way to start this with mentioning and talking about Coach Glenn and Coach Mendrick, who you say are your favorite coaches of all time.
Man, for real. Yeah. So like I said, starting middle school, didn't really get out all that much, but I do want to shout out Coach Baby. Like, "Oh, are you walking?" Like, installing that in us, man. But for sure. So going to high school, man. Shout out all my coaches from middle school, Coach Herman, Coach Bailey, Coach Shepard, all them dudes, man. For real. Um, but yeah, going to high school real quick. Like I said, favorite all time coaches, Mendrick and Coach Glenn. And when I was my last, after I was done playing college, one of my posts, I include only them both in it. Shout out to all my other coaches as well. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna take nothing away from them. They definitely helped me out. Those two specifically, I remember Coach Mendrick when I first got to Langham, um, because of my speed and stuff. I didn't even know how to carry a ball, bro. Like I had the ball, like both ends of the ball were like sticking out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know how to carry a ball being a running back, but because of my speed, I got put on the 18. And then after our first game, I think we played Klein Oaks. Man, it's crazy, man. So after we played Klein Oaks, I didn't have a very good game at all. And I mean, I ran here and there when I had a chance. I broke out, whatever the case was. But a couple of things, I think it came from my soccer rules a little bit of contact. I wasn't very good at initiating contact a little, Um, so he called me scared. Uh, and I just didn't have knowledge for the game. All I knew was see, hold, run, see, open field, run. So I'll try to bounce it when I didn't necessarily have to bounce it. When it's like we call the play inside, get in there. I'm like, all these 250 plus 300-pound dudes, like, why am I just going when I can break it outside and go for a touchdown? So he really taught me the game, right? He really taught me that inside zone is inside zone, unless you can take it out and go sport. But inside zone, we try to so teaching me little stuff about the game like that. You know what I'm saying? Outside zone, this is why we try to do this. So at practice one time, he was yelling at someone, and he was like, "Stop all that soft shit" or something like that. Um, that's exactly why Chris Mims on the B team right now in front of the entire team. At the time, like, cause I always like respect your coach and stuff like that. I ain't really like take necessarily the bad I didn't really see it as that much of a negative, all right, because our relationship. And after that, he came and talked to me. He's like, "Hey, I understand that I said in front of the entire team, but I know what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? Get on the B team, do your thing." And I got on the B team, popped out the whole year. And but just him teaching me that from, like I said, freshman year. And at the time, I didn't really know Coach Glenn that much because he didn't really do that much with he wasn't the a freshman running backs or nothing like that. So yeah, man, that's how it goes with Coach Mendrick. And then of course came back sophomore year. All the stuff he told me kept that in the back of my mind. Running to contact, running physical. You know what I'm saying? Running through the tackles, between the tackles, uh, blocking. How important blocking is as a running back. That's if you listen to this, you want to play running back and you want to take it to the next level, whatever the case is. Shout out to Glenn taught me this. Blocking gonna get you your money. Like if you can't stand there and pass protect for your quarterback or help out the line, you ain't gonna do that much. So I know we'll get deeper and deeper into specifically what they did, but for the most part, that's why those two are so important to me.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And just kind of tagging on that a little more, in what other ways were they helping elevate your game and just also that mentoring aspect? And also, side note, for those who don't know, Coach Glenn played college ball at the University of Nebraska and
Yeah.
he went to the NFL. So if you want to know more, Google him. So just a little side note. But back to the question with how they elevated your game and mentoring you.
Man, yeah, like I said, both of them really treated me like a son type of like relationship with me was close. So every time they criticized me or whatever the case is, I never saw it as, you know what I'm saying, anything that personal. Uh Coach Glenn I didn't gone to his house multiple times and talked to his daughter and seen his little baby son when he was a little kid. Now he's all grown up and running around. And I didn't got if you know Coach Glenn and he got that his car in the garage and he brings it out every Sunday and he has his Nebraska seats on there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't rode in it before. I didn't sat in it before. So to show you how close we got. But yeah, Coach Mendrop teaching me the I love you. At the same time, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have your back. Go out there like coach like that. You want to run through a wall for it. You know what I'm saying? Because every turn he did have my back, whether it was equipment, whether it was talking to Coach Thompson on my behalf, whether it was, you know what I'm saying, like some on game day, and he pulled me to the side. Hey, have a little chat. You know what I'm saying? He always had my back in that regard. Same with Coach Glenn. So that's what Coach Mendel brought to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why you want to do this. Run physical, run tough. Like, be about this. Coach Glenn, show me how important film watching is. You know what I'm saying? Show me how important reading defenses and like techniques. Like I said, going back to I'm not the taller, I'm not the biggest. So techniques was so important. This is how you could do this. He always had tough ass Tuesdays during practice and stuff like that. So running tough, being tough. Like I love the times where me, Neil, Chase, we had Oklahoma days on Tuesday and shit like that. So um, we would always mess up his equipment. That was the goal. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was the ball that you run with the rope on it or the sled. If he's on the sled and we push him, we try to push him over. So having that relationship with the coach, you know what I'm saying, to that level, not just a coach being a hard ass all the time, a coach that can get down dirty with us, you know what I'm saying? So that's what those two really brought to my career. And that's something that, even going to college, I even still kept in the back of my mind that really put me through a lot of stuff.
I got you, man. And there's a thought that was just in my head. Like you were saying something about Coach. I'm trying to see if I can remember. Now we'll move to the next question, but I feel like it was so. Yeah, Coach Mindra, man, that's what it was. Shout out Coach Mindra, man, because this guy's super freaking awesome. And I remember it was a short term like moment that I had going on. So just a quick backstory. Like Adrian Peterson, I was a big Adrian Peterson fan all day. That's what they used to call him.
Right.
He got me into football. I was like all into the highlights of running back, track and this. It was insane, man. And I
Right.
remember my sophomore year, I went up to Coach Management. I was like, what can I do to make the switch? What can I do to make the switch to running back? He's like, yeah, man, we got you, man. Like he wasn't like, oh, like, nah, man, like you're not gonna be like, what's your 40 time or just there. He was just like, yeah, like if that's what you want, let's make it happen. You know what I mean? So I remember that about Coach Benjo forever and always, man. And I don't know where he's at right
He's
now,
from
but
Langham actually. Like I had just went back a little while to visit and actually took a picture with him and stuff like that. Going back to our relationships. Like I remember, and almost every time I score a touchdown, I always try to come and find him first, right? So it was find him, dab him up, Coach Glenn, we jump up, you know what I'm saying? And when we played at U of H, actually, there's this picture that was I think it was in the newspaper or something like that. Like we're going like down low for a high five. It looked dope. And relationship with Coach Glenn, like there's this one, I forgot. I think it was the playoff game with Ailey Taylor or something like that. Some um Oaks team or something like that. And it was a fumble. I don't think I fumbled it. In fact, man, I got CTE, so all these hits then piled up over time. But I forgot. But story is it was a fumble. Um, it came on me because every time the ball's on the ground, he like that's another thing he taught me. Make sure the ball never on the ground, whether you a quarterback, it don't matter. And me and Chris Herron walking back to the sideline, and perfect picture. All you see is Coach Glenn with his mouth wide open with me walking by, and he's looking directly at me, ripping my ass up. Although I'm the starting running back, everybody whoop de whoop, but he was on me because I feel like he knew the potential. You know what I'm saying? He wanted me to get there, so he was definitely tough for sure.
Yeah, it's tough skin, man, and you definitely need somebody. And that applies to anybody, whether it's a coach, a friend, spouse, whatever the case may be. You need someone to be honest with you, like, hey, man, like you got way more potential than that. What are you doing? What's going on? Let's talk. And that's what Coach Glenn was to you as a coach, or you know what I mean. So that's very powerful, man. And considering he played in the NFL, and I'm sure, of course, got exposed to all kinds of top level leadership from coaches or players. Getting into Coach Glenn's leadership capabilities, what kind of a leader was he? Meaning, was he vocal or was he a firm but fair kind of guy? What kind of leader was Coach Glenn?
Oh, for sure, vocal. Just I gotta say shout out to him because he gave me his back plate that he played in college and the league with. You know what I'm saying? It had it was a Dominican Sue's signature on there. Um I think the signature's washed away or whatever. I still got it. But man, so but yeah, for sure vocal leader. There'll be times because I'm not the most always vocal leader and stuff like that. Like I would rather my play do the talking. So I feel like there may be times like because I don't like often trash talk, whatever the case is, that and I'm not always that hard nosed, you know what I'm saying? That I think one of his favorite linebackers was Chase Hanks because dude was a freaking ram. Dude had a hard head. But that go get it, you know what I'm saying? Hard nose, like vocal, and he was about to act. He ain't gonna really tell you nothing that he won't do or you won't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and one of the stuff he always told me as far as, teaching is play the techniques and playing the stuff. Cause like, if y'all know him or Google him, whatever the case is, he had to stop putting the lead because at one time he had went to tackle Darren Sproles in his neck. So going back to technique, every time he saw me with my head down, he always got on me. So that's the kind of person he was. He is. He's passionate. I know now he's at Sci making a whole lot of dudes' dreams come true, and impacting a whole lot of dudes as well. So shout out to him.
And and just kind of just go like a little bit more into Coach Glenn. Did you ever find yourself at all with Coach Glenn in terms of like him being able to recognize the small details that maybe gave him inclination in regards to, okay, this is the coverage they're running, or if it's a blitz that's coming from a linebacker or safety, he could see that easily. Was anything like that you'd be like, dang, like I didn't even know that.
Right, facts. And him being a defensive dude, you know what I'm saying, in the league at the highest level, playing the Super Bowl for the Colts. Um, both being a running back at Nebraska and getting there and seeing that, you know what I'm saying, seeing the opposite side of the ball as well. So knowledgeable, man. And yeah, he taught me so many stuff that I feel like kind of set me apart from everyone else, like little tendencies such as breaking it down, man. Like he was talking one time watching film and, you know, talking about leverage, right? So basically teach me how to set up blocks, not just for the first level, but for the next level. And also how to know if a linebacker is blitzing or if they're just bluffing or whatever the case may be. So those things, man, that helped me like crazy, and also how to properly cut. You know what I'm saying? So different stuff like that. Be a running back, but also be a quarterback and be a linebacker as well, as far as knowing things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? All those things I think helped me out like crazy. Sometimes I would have runs where, you know what I'm saying, make a move. I don't even know how I made it, but it's because he taught me that a little while back. Watch out for these things. You know what I'm saying? How important film study was as well. So all those things, man, I definitely big shout out to him for that.
In terms of film room too, it's important uh, film study because you have to not just study your you have to study your opponents
Yeah.
just as much as you study yourself. So
Yes.
was film something you did religiously of always studying not just yourself but other teams as well?
Facts, man. And the more and more in the season, especially my junior or senior year, getting to watch do like Neil or Chase, you know what I'm saying? Them dudes like to me, it was like, whoa, how can I want to do that, but how can I do that? So it was watching opponents like you said went through every week. It was like forget about there's no other team in the district. If we playing Cy Falls, we're gonna go through Cy Falls. We're gonna look at how their linebackers are. We're gonna look at the dudes supposed to start by not just what they're great at, but stuff they lack on in film. In the first quarter, how they are, in the second quarter, how they come out. In the third quarter, they're getting a little tired, like how we can, you know what I'm saying, take advantage of stuff like that. Um, one time we're playing Ridge and uh, was it? Yeah, I think it was Ridge, my senior year. And he kind of just talking about how important it is, you know what I'm saying? There's this one guy on the team. I think it was a Mike linebacker that he was so good at trying to go for the punch, the ball, or ripping and stuff like that. Or you know what I'm saying, when you're in the pile, based on what we saw during scout or whatever the case is, he was a little bit of a dirty player. So it's seeing different stuff like that, but you're not gonna see that if you don't watch them, if you don't watch yourself, if you don't watch as far as taking steps and stuff like that. We have those little zone counter steps or whatever the case is. Don't take extra steps. This is what you can do. Watch yourself to see what you do and how to improve it. So, you know what I'm saying, just him coming up with different stuff like that, how to, you know what I'm saying, improve my game, or not just me, whether it was Bryce, you know what I'm saying, whether it was shout out to him Bone, all them other guys that was, you know what I'm saying, behind me or were in the running back room.
Yeah, and I want to shout out back. I want to shout out Bryce too and Hambo and all of them, but specifically Bryce was that was my boy, man. I mean, if you talk about if you go to the dictionary, look up real man, Bryce is right there. He just had a kid as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy. Hope if you're watching this, man,
Yeah.
we love you, dude. We hope everything's going well for sure, man.
Also
Yeah,
Jalen too. That was a running back for a little while. So
yeah.
shout
Shout out
out
my boy Jalen, man.
facts, facts. Man, hey, real quick, bro. You watching this? You was on here. You did your thing, bro. I watch everything you said as far as fitness and stuff. I'm proud of you for what you're doing, bro. Keep it going.
Yeah, and going on with Chris is saying, if y'all didn't watch the episode, man, you better go watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. We talk more about Jalen, his incredible mindset, things like that. It's called Impact of, I think it's called Impact of Quitting and Rejection.
Yeah,
So just quick little shameless plug right there. But anyways, back to my boy Chris, man, because we're just going with gems on gems on gems, right? So reverting back, man, what I wanted to capture for this section as well, which was once again relentless effort you put in and mindset. So luckily, the good thing is you had great mentors around you. I mean, shoot, you had a former NFL player that
yeah,
had insights on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So he knew what it's like to think on defense, but he also knew what it's like to think on offense, which is great. Um, but mentors without proper mindset and being coachable, putting in the work, it's unfortunate to say, but it almost kind of means nothing without just having those certain things like that. And luckily, you did all of that. So that was just more of a to people who think just because you have a mentor, it's all gravy. They're telling you all this great stuff, but you got to put action into it as well. And as we move forward, man, we'll piece together just kind of mindset you had and still have, and we've kind of been getting a little bit into that already, and just overall the amount of work you put in, man. But let's get a better understanding of why, in your eyes, it was a struggle to start. You kind of hinted on certain things, whether your soccer roots, size. Is there anything else that you can pinpoint looking back on it now in high school that you're like, dang, like that's why it was such a struggle for me to start?
Right. Yeah, I would say real quick before going, I just gotta say everyone out there, like this is probably one of the few times that I didn't sat down for an interview. Like I'd be so nervous because I always like I don't like talking to myself that much, but sometimes you like when you're accomplished, so you gotta give yourself a little tap on the back. So it's like finding that balance, you know what I'm saying? But going back to our regular schedule program, um, yeah, I would say whether it was physicality, you know what I'm saying, running tough, running between the tackle, those are all things for sure. I think play a little role in you know what I'm saying in me not always being um at the very top level because I've been blessed whether like I said when I went down to the B team I was starting running back when sophomore year when I came back up and now and came back and I was fortunate enough to be a sophomore on the JV team. I was the starter there as well. Um, so I would say in learning the game, and but for the most part, I think it was physicality that kind of held me back a little bit because I had that speed, I could get away from people. But sometimes you gotta stick your nose in there and get them a couple yards. You know what I'm saying? So that and do not fumble. That'll get you sitting on the bench, bringing water to people. Like that'll get you on the bench for sure. So all the stuff I had to clean up on, um, being good in the block game and in the pass protection. So all those things I think presented a little challenge as far as me starting initially. But once I picked up on that, it was go time. But shout out
Yeah.
to also to Beast Mode real quick. When I was talking about me getting the football, I should have brought OG. But man, you know me from high school, man. You know that's OG right there. You're in college as well. Like I'm actually trying to, you know, what I'm saying this next few years or whatever case they're trying to go to Oakland, hopefully see OG real quick. But I mean, he's been very like important in, you know, what I'm saying going back to what kept me from starting those are dudes like that I watch. Beast Mode, D'Anthony Thomas, like because I had his speed, right? So it was well, I had speed almost like him. But I try to be physical like Beast Mode, you know what I'm saying? Like so those are all the things that I think that I did lack and that I picked up on and getting better at.
Yeah, and I think another big thing too that you had going for you, man, was positive reinforcement of people rooting for your success, including me. Even my mom, man. Like I remember in middle school, she was like, "Man, like, how's Chris? Is he doing well?" Like I don't know what it was, but she just gravitated towards you, towards your energy, and was like, "Man, I hope Chris is doing good. How's he doing at in high school, college, and stuff like that." So, anyways, you had positive reinforcement going for you, right? So that's a good plus right there. Going back to taking matters into your own hands with applying, having great mentors, mindset, all these different things. What extra work were you having to do in order to inch closer to becoming that starter? Example, after school workouts, more film study, anything to maximize your time to get you closer to that goal.
Man, thank you for bringing that up because I never want to do anything without giving praise and you know what I'm saying the humongous credit that all the people in my life deserve because they prepared me to be up there. Going back, like you said, your mom, everyone else in middle school that always, you know what I'm saying, will give me rides sometime or whatever the case is. Even the parents during varsity games that would, you know what I'm saying, prepare snacks or whatever the case is for us to have during halftime or decorate the halls and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that put us in position there. Real quick shout out to I don't think Eli, one of my close buddies, we still talk to this day. Eli Burkle, like his mom, man, that she was so close to me, bro. Like unfortunately, she passed. I think last year, yeah. But man, yeah, that was one of the people that was so close to me. I did so much as far as support and stuff like that. Um, yeah, there were parents like you said, good job after the game, telling my parents, hey, he did really good tonight, or different stuff like that. Specifically, with Eli mom. I remember there was one time that I think it was in my sophomore, junior year, or probably senior year, something like that. I had a high ankle sprain coming from soccer, and coming off that, she would let me go to her pool to work out to try to get my ankle back, strong and stabilized, stuff like that. Whether it was I didn't eat that much. Every time I went there, she made sure I eat. It's not I don't have food, but she just like she forced me to eat to eat. You know what I'm saying? So different people like that. I'm pretty sure there's some people I'll leave out, but to everyone who ever played a part in getting Chris to on that field, whether it was the trainers, right, Doc, Ms. Neely, all the trainers and stuff like that, man, all the parents that ever put their hand in, whether it was me, my teammates getting on that field. Thank you so much for real. So and also, man, my I can't Cali, my boy Nick Lobos. And so shout out Cali for sure, because since sophomore year, we'll go out there, he'll watch Forward King draw out these drills, bro. Like he would bring his own stuff. We would go out there, whether it was after school, whether it was weekends. Sometimes we go to night working on the sand pit. He would draw out these drills, and I would come and do it over and over and over and over till that's what helped me get, I'm saying, that quick twitch, that everything that came so naturally on game day, getting my feet quicker, not doing wasted steps. So those are all the things that for sure helped me out my sophomore year going on JV and going to, I'm saying, junior year, we continue the junior year, we continue the senior year. And I got in college, we continued in my freshman and sophomore year. But major shout out to him for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually, even if you didn't, I was gonna bring him up for you, um, because man, it's a beautiful thing to see, and here's why. Because it wasn't about how can Nick get better, it was about how can Chris get better, which once
Thanks.
again speaks volumes. Um, and it may not help you out in the moment, but in the long term, it's going to come back to you tenfold. And a lot of people have trouble with that. You know what I mean? With wanting to step out and help somebody else because they're like, well, it's not benefiting me. It's not going to get me playing on the field. So why do I need to take time out of my day to help Chris or whoever you want to fill in the blank for, right? So no, yeah, man, that's big volume. Shout out Nick Lobos, man. That means a lot. That shows your character. And for people watching, man, like if you see someone's got a gift, talent, or even if they don't, right, they have a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not push them over the edge, man? Just like in my background here, push them up, man. You know what I'm saying? But so this is a two-part question, man, in regards to injuries, which you kind of talked about a little bit, ankle injury. Let's start with the first one. So injuries in sports, right? They're not a matter of if, but when.
Right.
Depending on how many years you're playing, how long you're playing, just different things like that, right? Excuse me. So yeah, so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Um, and when you get injured and one that did sideline you, of course, like an ACL injury. What was your approach, man, when you did get injured, like an ankle injury, anything like that? Was it a beast mode approach, as in like, man, this is painful, but I gotta fight through it, man, because like I have to be out there on the field for my teammates.
Right. It was exactly that. I think it was more of a beast mode approach in every injury I took. Um, it was more of, okay, let's get this thing better so I can get out there. I didn't have high ankle sprains for sure. I had that multiple times on both ankles. Um, one time they put me in the boot because I made a mistake of going. I think I either went to the emergency room or something like that, and I came back in the boot, and Coach Thompson looked, that stuff. He goes, huh? I don't know what he's doing, Coach. So he was livid with that. I came back in the boot, and who's there? Coach Mendrick. Go talk to him, and what I'm saying, trying to talk to me and make sure everything good. Coach Mendrick told me, man, yeah, you shouldn't have came back in the boot, like. So he's like, really, coach? It's an ankle. Are you kidding me? Gotta be kidding me. So what I'm saying, because Glenn and Coach Mendrick, because coming back into the season, of course, we lost Neil. So everyone thinking we ain't gonna be that good and stuff. And in the paper, everyone writing that Chris Mann, and so he's like, yeah, that's supposed to be our starting running back. Yeah. And you know how Thompson will go. He's like, yeah, I mean, is him both ready? Because obviously he's in the boot. But yeah, so it was more of okay. I'm trying to get out this boot. Miss Neely, Doc, I'm in for treatment. Coach Glenn, make sure like that's another thing. Like make sure that you know what I'm saying Coach Glenn and Coach Mendrick, they would text me. Coach Mendrick would offer some in time that hey, if you need me to come and get you in the morning, you know what I'm saying, so you can go to treatment before you go to class and stuff like that. Go ahead and do that. Um, so you know, high ankle sprain. One of the worst injury I had a minor concussion in soccer, and they told me not to play, and I still played. So yeah, that contributes to my CTE. Um, Going to one of the worst injury I've probably ever had. One of the most painful, probably not worst. I think I had an MCL sprain. That thing was, oh my God, that thing was like every time I step, it felt like my knee was caving in and it was so painful on the inside of my knee. But at the time that was my sophomore year, so I was on JV Black. And man, Doc just taped that up and I took some pillies. I was like, let's go. And it's like every time I stepped on that thing, I got tackled, man. Like there's sometimes where as soon as I got hit, I made sure I was down, let the ball go, limp back to the huddle. And shout out my boy Jacob Walls, who's a quarterback. And every time, man, he's telling me like, "Good, push it, put like." Sometimes I'm not even looking at the play. Like when I get tackled, he run up, get me up, tell me to play. Let's go, do this. So so yeah, it was more of I want to be out there for my teammates. So I mean, I would pop in pillies, do what I gotta do, get through the pain. Because for the most part, once I start playing, man, yes, I'll still feel the pain, but that adrenaline and also like getting that mode, man. Like it's like every time when I hit the weight room or something like that, like if something hurts, it's like if my wrist was hurting yesterday when I was working out and I'm punching it. You know what I'm saying? It's like why you doing that? Because you just get in that mode, you know what I'm saying? You just get that fire that hey, it's go time, it's beast mode. Like you're in that mode right now, so let's go. So it's more of that mentality. It's beast mode, let's go. If it ain't broken, you can go, let's go.
Yeah, man, and that right there really solidifies just the kind of mindset you had, man. That beast mode mentality. Shout out Marshawn Lynch, man. Yeah, I gotta link up,
Mm,
but that beast mode mentality, and that's a mentality everybody needs to take, and it can apply to anything. It doesn't need to be like injury, like anything like that, but just the willingness to push through. Let's take it maybe more like if you're just like I'm so tired, but it's like no, I need to push through because I got things, I got goals I want to accomplish. Whether that's a fitness goal, whether that's getting into an industry, business, whatever the case may be, right? Plug in what you want to plug in for that. You got to have that beast mode mentality because no one's going to do it for you, and no one's going to care if you achieve it or not. So it's all up to you and how bad you want it. Just the simple things, right? And
I would
man,
say
as yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick with that, like you know, everyone is different, of course. You know what I'm saying? So I would say like I learned that more and more when I got into college about like, okay, you want to do this so much, but be smart about it. Because I mean, like you said, you want to keep going. And another thing about me, like I have this heart murmur, a normal heartbeat. So I remember it was spring, I think it was my freshman year or something like that in college. It's like I want to keep going, I don't want to stop. And we're at the time we're doing conditioning and kept going. My heart was like beating fast. Everyone know I should stop, but I ain't gonna stop. Like, and I actually passed out, passed out during the workout, and I had to like chill out, get carried off the field, and so it's more of like as I grew older, I had to learn that as much as you want to go 100%, know when like listen to your body. You know what I'm saying? You don't want something to be broken and you break it even more and you're on the shelf for even longer. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta find everyone's is different. Find that for you. Find that balance of I wanna go. Like go if you can. If you can't, give it time to heal because if not, you're gonna be on the shelf for even longer. And we know especially in football, availability is key. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, and I'm glad you brought that point up as well. Because yes, you do have to be cautious about your body, your mind, all these different things. Because your body is your temple, but you have to be really honest with yourself, and when it comes to these things, because it could hurt, but and you could still go, but you're like, like this is my chance. So I bring that up for those reasons because it's easy to let that mind that voice in your head creep in and be like, all right, I'm a rest. I don't need to work out today. Like whatever, I'm good to go. So have that beast mode mindset, but when you need to cool it down, like Chris said, man, just cool down, take a break, different things like that. And as I mentioned in today's episode, man, that what I was saying right now, that voice in our head is powerful and it can steer us the wrong way. But like Denzel Washington, man, he put it best. If the devil is ignoring you, you're doing something wrong. So
Mm.
consider all this extra work you're putting in, injuries you're fighting through. What was the driving factor? Was it your mother? Like, what was the driving factor in making you keep going?
Yeah, I would say it was goals that I set out for myself. From the very start of everything, whether it's academically or in sports, I always try to do something. Um, so whether it was me constantly being hurt in college, in high school, and docking and bringing the bike out there because my knees messing with me. If we're out on a drive and I'm sitting still, my knee will lock or whatever the case is. So going on the bike between drives. Um, I would say it's also a little bit of seeing that determination of my mom keep going through adversity and fighting through adversity. Um, so to me, for the most part, it was never something that's such a hardship because I feel like from a sense of jit, I've always been trained to with every hardship or whatever comes an opportunity. So once you get over that peak, you never know what's there. So, what I'm saying, give it your all, keep fighting, because you never know what's going to be on the other end of that. So that was always my mentality. Nothing was, oh, too, nothing was like Mount Everest, right? Because I know that once I got over that, it's another mountain to look at and try to climb. So for me, it was just that mentality of keep going, don't stop, don't let anything like stop you so much from accomplishing what you want to accomplish.
I got you, man. And let's fast forward a bit now to getting moved up junior year to varsity and getting your chance to play and chance to play was during the Cy Falls game. When Snell
Man,
got poked in the eye. So without me telling it, I'm gonna let you go from there.
man, for real. Shout out OG to Neil. I know he getting ready for the combine and stuff right now. So shout out to him for that. But cause all the OGs like they always saw how hard I work. So I always have fans in them. You know what I'm saying? Since saw some of them dudes going back to Coach Glenn when I was a sophomore in JV. JV had to be the scout for varsity. So all them dudes that constantly like, man, they ain't ease up at all. Cook Mendrup's son, Zach, hard nosed linebacker, he whacked me. Q, Quincy Davis, who later went to Texas A&M, played for the Colts a little bit, I think. All them dudes was on like he was a receiver, but they was on defense because I mean good players they played both sides and stuff like that. Chase McCray, Neil, of course, Neil Carter. All them Neil tried to be a freaking linebacker and Chase too. And praise all them dudes like seeing how hard I worked. I mean, literally JV play went full pass, scouted for varsity, I think on Wednesday, and we had our games on Thursday, right? So full contact Wednesday and going to play JV game on Thursday or Friday, whatever the case was. So yeah, you had to be ready. And with that, got respect from even Micah Pryor, um, Chase, brother, all them dudes. Definitely got it from them. So going back to Neil, always saying that hard work. He was always like a mentor to me too, dealing with because he always had a spotlight, dealing with how to handle varsity stuff like that. Always asking for advice. I mean, he would always tell me, "Hey, little bro, like you got it. You know what you can do. Go out there and you know what I'm saying, be about your business." So during the South Falls game, he got poked in the eye. I don't know exactly how bad it was, but you know what I'm saying, he kind of looks at me, he's like, man, I ain't trying to go out there. Like at that time, I think he committed either to Georgia or UT. So like, hey bro, I'm like, no, he was getting looked at that time. Yeah, yeah. I think he either committed or he was getting looked at, but he was definitely on ESPN, like top 50 running back in the country or something like that. So he was like, little bro, I want you to get your, you know what I'm saying, get your bread. Like, so like I said, I don't know exactly how bad it was, but he kind of looked at me like, it's your time. So, man, that I would probably never forget that moment. Went in and got inside zone, bounced it again. So when I bounced it, I was like, "Oh shit!" And I just see praise coming out of the corner of my eye, cracking the block. I was like, "Yeah, I gotta do something now that he didn't did this." So, so seeing everything play so fast, yet so quickly, that was crazy. And then hearing the crowd, everyone literally going like, I think there was like Skittles or Beast Mode. Yeah, I think they were like Beast Mode or student session. And I was just crazy hearing that, but at the same time, I know we may talk later about focus, but getting the focus on the play, but at the same time, living that moment, you know what I'm saying, to where I remember it to this day.
That's yeah, and that's freaking awesome. I can only imagine. Cy Falls was our rival too,
For
so I can
real.
only
So you
imagine.
know
You
that
know,
sense.
you're
Ah, that was
exactly. So I can only imagine your freaking adrenaline was to the roof. Um, I think another thing I want to bring up too, with regards to that, is that even though you got your chance and you made the most of it, of course, to know was going to be the start no matter what, right? You alluded to 50, top 50 players in the state or the country, whatever the case was, just different things like that. What would you what would you tell someone, man, like who had like that bitter mindset towards it, like kind of like that, like, well, I'm gonna get my chance, but I mean, this guy's gonna start anyway. So what's the matter if I get a 200, 300? Those are crazy numbers, right? But let's just say right, I'm throwing numbers, 300 yards rushing. He's gonna be a starter anyways. So what kind of advice would you give to someone like that that has that kind of that mindset towards it?
keep going because you never know when your time gonna be. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it. If you be like, I'm gonna chill out because you know what I'm saying, he's gonna be a starter. A few weeks later, against Jersey Village, Neil went down again. I think it was his ankle or something, and Coach Glenn alluded to this during on my signing day. Um, Neil went down again, and he told me like, of course, turn up South Falls, finish that game, we won. Um, of course, Neil came back a few weeks, started again, but at the same time, because of that performance, I earned myself a little more playing time. And then keep working my ass off, keep doing the right things. Where I was ready again when Jersey Village came down. First drive, I don't think he finished the first drive of the game. Neil went down. So now I was like, I got more opportunities now. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to finish the rest of the game out. Um, and then got to thanks to my teammate Kenny Sheldon. You know what I'm saying? Chris Chris Heron, Golden, um, Devin, all them dudes. Praise got to go for like 255 yards on Jersey Village. You know what I'm saying? All because I was in preparation. Now, if I just lay back and I keep watching film during film on Jersey Village that week, don't pay attention. Like I'm actually gonna play, although you don't play. Who knows if I've been, you know what I'm saying, I would have been that successful. So I would say, man, even if it's not in your favor right now, man or woman, if I say man, I'm losing to that. But just keep going because you never know when your opportunity gonna come. The worst thing you don't want your opportunity, and I know you probably heard this in life before, but you never want your opportunity to come and you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? So keep
Yeah,
grinding.
yeah, man, and eventually, man, you do get the starting spot. I mean, you're getting play time. The good thing is, man, you got moved up to varsity junior, which is awesome. They didn't take you till senior. Got some PT going. I mean, PT mean playing time in there. So like I said, eventually you get the starting role, man. So of course, man, like what's that feeling like after just all that time of just grinding and just keep on going?
Man, it was I remember even going back to sophomore year, it was always nerve-wracking because um back to uh back in my freshman year, it was more can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Oh, I lost you for a second. Going back to my freshman year after my God. Uh, Going back to my freshman year, it was always after that first game with Clown Notes. Um, got booted down. So I always had that in the back of my mind that, oh man, I hope I do good because I don't want to get booted down again. So after my sophomore year, I was like, okay, I'm about that for like after I was still on the on JV as our first second game, I was like, okay, bet we in business now. And then going to what I'm saying to varsity and all that, it was more of let's go, it's go time. You know what I'm saying? So for sure, man. Um, so it was like always stay ready, always keep going. So yeah,
Got you, bro. And it's also important to note too. Um, don't rest on your morals. Meaning, if you think getting the starting spot is hard, try maintaining it. You know what I mean? Like, or correlated to a UFC fighter, a UFC champion, or a boxer, or whatever. To sustain it is different. You know what I
right.
mean? So you got to keep. You definitely, yeah, like I said, you got to keep pushing, man.
And Coach
So
Lynn, I mean, definitely like I was never he always made it seem like your spot can always be taken. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you had to earn it every week, So that's where that came from. Even when I earned the starting spot on varsity, I mean you had to do like Bryce who can freaking light up a scoreboard any week. You had Hambone, you know what I'm saying? You had guys like that. I was actually the shortest of the group, you know what I'm saying? So it was more of you're gonna earn this every week. I remember one week, during my senior year, they wanted to arrest me because I think we made the playoffs by that point, and I didn't play during Jersey Village or something like that, and ankle injury again, I think for me or something like that, and came back the next week, and they called for the starting team to what I'm saying during prep and stuff like that, and I go out there and Coach Glenn like no, get back over here. Get back over here. What you thought just because you starting and you come back and jump in the lineup? You gotta earn this. So he made me what I'm saying, go with the second team and basically work that way back up again. So it was never like, okay, you're in that spot, you there. No, it's more you had to earn that every week. And that's going back to him coming from that, what I'm saying, NFL mentality that every week you gotta earn your keeps. So
yeah, man, and to kind of cap off just the high school, man. What was one game? Let's do senior year. What was one game, man, varsity that stood out where you just went beast mode, dude?
man, man, I'm not sure, man. I had a couple that I remember we played Side Woods one time, and that was probably one of the most physical games because we caught a lot of inside runs. And man, there were times where I got hit, and I remember exactly what happened. And I kind of like looked back for the signal, not seeing it because I was blurry vision at the time. And Chris Herron just had to tell me, line up, go again. So definitely remember that for sure. And all the playoff runs we went on, man, that was great, dude. Like getting to turn up with you and all the guys in the locker room. Um, Getting to play at U of H, you know what I'm saying? That was dope. Um, man, that was lit for sure. So it's not one maybe I can pinpoint. Um, but getting to play Houston Heights because we played them the year before, and I remember caught a pass from Chris, and I still watch that sometime. I ain't gonna cap. Caught a pass from Chris, and went down the sideline. Had a iron. I still to this day I don't know how I duked out like two or three people, and so that was dope for sure. So
Yeah, that's And although I'm sure there's probably much more we can cover, I think we kind of got the main gist. You know what I mean, in regards to high school. So let's move on into life as a college athlete, right? So compared to the other colleges you could have attended, why OBU, Oklahoma Baptist University, and what kind of scholarship did they offer you if they offered you at all?
Right. So it was more looking at because first and foremost, I'm a Christian. So, you know what I'm saying, like my dad teach me how to, you know what I'm saying, critically think through stuff. And was a Baptist school and that was in my roots. So getting to learn more, right? Not just Bible teaching that there was heaven and earth and God said something happened. Like so that's just one example of like thinking critically. Okay, there was the Big Bang and God put an eye on the Eve. So thinking through, you know what I'm saying, just little stuff like that. So wanting to learn more about my faith, and I don't just want to say I'm a Christian. I want to learn what makes me a Christian. What you know what I'm saying, what makes it different than other religions or whatever the case is. And so getting wanting to learn more of me because that's what makes me me. And man, I don't know, like, cause I didn't even visit school that much. I went for a um a combine workout and a game day visit. I didn't get to see other facilities, nothing like that. Kind of just like, you know what, I want to go here. I was blessed to have other places, but seeing how wanted to get a little far away from home as well. So seeing the distance wasn't too crazy. About 6 hours away. So I was okay. That's pretty good. Um, so yeah, that's for me. And they had I want to of course pursue computer science as well. So I thought that that would be a good place.
And was it a hard transition for you moving since you're 6 hours away, just being away from family and having to do the process again to meeting new friends?
Not really. Um, I'm a person that, you know what I'm saying, going back to beast mode, put it best. I'm laid back, kick back, mind my own business, stay my own lane. And that's kind of what I took to college as well. Transition wasn't like as far as, people saying I miss home so much stuff like that. To me, I didn't really understand that much because one, we were so busy. Two, I couldn't just come home every time. I didn't really want to. It was more, you know what I'm saying, stay there, figure yourself out. Um, you're in college for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Going back to having a goal for everything. I'm in college for a reason. So no, it wasn't really hard at all. I remember my freshman year, I didn't come home probably till Thanksgiving, and we reported in like August. Um, so it was smooth for sure.
I got you. And just to kind of dive a little bit into just college ball and what that experience was like, did you at all notice the pace of the game being faster compared to high school?
Yeah, for sure. Pace of the game is faster for sure. Those who were D linemen in high school were linebackers and moving fast. So for sure the game was faster. So going back to because Glenn watching film, definitely slowed the game down for sure. So that's just one of the things that definitely made it easier to transition between high school and college ball. And luckily, in our district, we had a lot of college level players. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of dudes that went to college from our district. So seeing that competitive level of play transition right to college.
And did you struggle at all with getting the grasp of play calling or the offensive playbook they were using, or did that come more easy for you?
For the most part, although the lingo was different, um, inside zone is inside zone. You know what I'm saying? So when they said it in their language, I transitioned over to high school. Um, you know what I'm saying? Saying words that meant that the play was going right. Usually it had the word R in it. Same with high school. It usually had the word R in it, so it's going right. Leo going left. It has L in it. So different stuff like that. I think in high school we had Ray and Leo, something like that, going right and going left. Same with college. So when I heard that, I kind of just try to have a transition over to when I was in high school and all the lingo and all that, inside zone, outside zone, pitch, saying different stuff like that.
Okay. And were you in a more of a leadership role for the running backs? And if so, what were you doing to keep the guys motivated and accountable? And also, not to say you can't do that without being in leadership, or you don't have to be a leader to be a leader, if that makes sense. So even if you weren't in one, I'm sure you were motivating and keeping your guys accountable. So if you were in one, provide insight. But if not, what were you doing to keep once again keep your guys accountable, etc.
Right. For me, like I said, going back to I try to lead by example more than I talk or do stuff. So when I got there, I think I was on the bottom of the depth chart. I said, of course, not the biggest and all that stuff. So it was more of get there, and within the first few weeks, like get an opportunity to work my way up within after the first scrimmage and stuff like that. Get an opportunity to work my way up. I wasn't necessarily in the leadership role where when I said stuff like rally guys and stuff like that. Nah, um, I was a little laid back, kick back, mind my business when I get on there and pop my shit. That was about it. And as I got older and more advanced in the program, because you got to earn respect that way. You know what I'm saying? You can't just get there and start talking. The guy's going to look at you like, bro, get up out of here, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be about what you what you say. You got to stand on what you say. So, yeah, when I got there, I didn't really talk a lot. I didn't really say much. I just try to do my stuff when I got on the field and in the weight room.
When did you find yourself in that starting role? Because I believe you were starting at some point. Was it at what point did you start?
Started, man, late. Like I don't think I ever started at all. Like definitely, started like senior year. It was more of like I told myself anything that would ever make me quit football was the politics. And man, some dudes that gonna see this gonna be like, "Oh, Chris," like it's not bad mouthing. It's not bad mouthing coaches and nothing. It just I knew the dudes that I was playing, and I knew who I was better than. You know what I'm saying? But going back to in sports, there's politics in sports. Um, that's probably one of the things I hate about sports. But um, since I mean I woke up to a dude like one of my best friends to this day, Isaiah Mallory. Like he was a starting running back, and got there my freshman year. Darian Moss, at the time he was the fastest dude. Walked up to him, told him, "Hey, I'm faster than you." That competitive edge, race, beat him out, beat a couple of dudes out. I mean, every time I'll talk to someone, be like, "Yeah, I'm still the fastest on the team." So carry that for a few of the years I was there. My senior year, I was like, you know what, I'm too old for this now. So someone else, please take that title. But you know what I'm saying. So going through all that, earning respect that way. Um, although I knew I should have started, for whatever reason I didn't. But for sure, that frustration built up over time. It was either like at some point I did contemplate quitting. I ain't gonna cap. Because I'm like, well, I was going at some point as well, like kind of stop watch. Like I told myself if I ever stop watching playing football, it'll be because of that politics, not because it's too hard, not because I'm not good at anything, but because of the politics. And that's actually the stuff one time that actually made me quit. And I almost completely stopped watching film because I'm like, I can't keep watching this person like playing, and I know I can be better than that, but you didn't put me in there. Like, what? But it's more of like not wanting to cause chaos into him or anything like that. So then lay back, kick back, mind my business, work. You know what I'm saying? Do my work when I get in there and pop my shit. And so that's what it mostly was. So never really got to start, but every time I did get in there, I mean, I think for me it was more of as a player, it's more of getting that respect from your teammates because I had teammates all the time. Shoot, bro, why you not like why? What's up with the coach? Like, why you not starting? Why you not playing? Like, so I mean, stuff that's out of my control is out of my control, but stuff that I could control when I got on the field, definitely did control that.
Yeah, and I think on Instagram I seen you delivering a speech, and from your former post, you've received some awards as well. Talk to us about that.
Uh, man, is it for when I was in college or
I think it
after?
was in college. Like you were in like you
Oh,
were in
yeah.
like all black.
All right, that was actually our what you call it sports award show. So I was fortunate. One time, my head coach came up to me and was like, "Hey, The coaches have spoken. We've talked among ourselves. We feel like you're a great leader on this team. I think that was like my junior year or something. And he's like, we feel like you're a great leader on this team. You know, we want to nominate you to be a part of SAC. SAC, this is a student advisory committee, student athlete advisory committee. My bad. And basically, that's where elected personnel from the various teams come together to basically make policies, or what I'm saying, talk to the NCAA on behalf of their team in school. So I was nominated for football. Was blessed for that. So basically, the SAC put together that event, and yeah, I was blessed to be a part of that. So going back to what I'm saying, getting to be a leader and stuff like that, coaches saw me working hard, what I'm saying, handling my business on and off the field, and was blessed to be put in that position.
Gotcha, man. And to cap off the sports aspect of college, what did you love most, and what will you miss most about college ball?
Yeah, man, I will miss for sure getting in the trenches with the guys for sure. That what I'm saying, going to the weight room, mornings, or what I'm saying, practices that we hated or whatever the case is, practices that we just turn up. Everybody like got into big fights, or what I'm saying, like going through the grind together. I think for the most part, I'll probably miss watching film. You know what I'm saying? So maybe later I want to get into maybe coaching on the side. I don't know. God bless me in life. Have a kid. All that definitely be passed down to him or her. We'll talk about this later. But what I'm saying, that mentality of an athlete. Um, so I think that's what I'll miss. Like I said, surprisingly, I haven't missed football that much like I thought I would, because I feel like I was kind of done. Um, not this past year, but the year before that, because back to the politics in the football. So I kind of checked out a little bit, but I still give full effort and stuff like that. So sometimes I have conversation with myself or my girlfriend, my best friend, like, why don't I miss it? I feel like this is why I don't miss it that much, because hey, I I fell out with it, and what I'm saying, like, I was able to, later we'll talk about the transition that love and what I'm doing now as a career. So although I will miss the trenches days and watching film and stuff like that, getting better, um, watching opponents, um, but that's something I'm definitely content with.
Definitely. And now moving into the college aspect, or sorry, moving into the education aspect of college. As far as coursework was we're concerned with, were you doing a full load every semester? What was that kind of like?
Yeah, for sure. I was always doing a full load, at least 13 hour. I think is the full load, but the only time I really did 13 hour when I first got there, freshman year, and then after that it was 15 or 16, something like that. And especially Oklahoma Baptist is a rigorous school. They emphasize critical thinking. You know what I'm saying, different stuff like that. Um, you gotta do your research, stuff like that. So it was very challenging for sure. But as challenging as it was, they also had support there. So, but for the most part, I say it was definitely a challenging school for sure. They definitely emphasized critical thinking.
Got you. And to hone in on the computer science aspect of it, what programming, and if you were learning two frameworks were you learning throughout the curriculum?
Yeah. So start off with Java, the OG. It's not really an OG, but it's a little of an OG. Started with Java. I think freshman year, then went to C plus plus. You know, still define stuff, but just not as much. You have to define your variables. Programmers watching this know this. Um, so going to C plus plus, and then going to once I discovered Python, it was more of like, okay, bet I'm with this. I don't have to tell my program that, six is an integer. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely fell in love with that. Then besides that, it was more of like, what I'm saying, self-learning and also combining that with what I'm learning in the classroom.
Got you. And of course, you made a website, which is basically your portfolio. Were the projects on your website basically um, the projects they were making you do in college, or were those you created on your own? Just kind of, I was trying to get some understanding with that.
Yeah, for the most part, that's kind of what I did on my own. I was in line to get to have an internship, um, all when COVID was going down and all that. So kind of taught myself. I know that the place I was going was using this language HTML. So I kind of taught myself HTML before I got there, and then learning a little bit of PHP was another programming language that they use to update. It's basically used to update forms and stuff like that, uh, make your page more UI friendly, user interface friendly. So kind of self-taught that, and then back in classroom, learn JavaScript, basically being able to have different dynamics within your page and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a combination. So once I discovered HTML and in the classroom JavaScript, I was like, oh, bet. So I can create a website now and put it on GitHub. And you know what I'm saying? So that was a project I kind of challenged myself to do. And so yeah, that just formed stuff on there amongst other projects.
And that's how you get me excited, man. Talking about this
Yeah.
programming
Yeah.
languages. I love HTML, hypertext markup language. For those who don't know, or are just getting into it, I love that. That's a great website, by the way. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So pick a website for sure. But anyways, we'll get into that more in a bit. In terms of networking, how much of that were you doing in college? Because in life, sometimes, of maybe not even all the times, it's not about what you know, but it's who you know. So forming relationships is critical. How much of that were you doing?
Man, and going back to shout out to OBU, they really harped on that. Whether it's I didn't necessarily have this professor, but Dr. Green, having his students create a LinkedIn page. You know what I'm saying? Them inviting people to various seminars where they talked about how important it is for you to create a LinkedIn account. And that's another thing about college. And I'm not saying everyone should go to college, right? Everyone has different calling, different gifts, and stuff like that. That's one thing about college, getting to go there and seeing other people are in various industries and stuff like that. So having the opportunity, everyone has different gifts, having the opportunity to link up, you know what I'm saying, and pick from each other's minds. So yeah, that was definitely a key factor in college. I mean, I done met people that I never thought I would meet. You know what I'm saying? Like I done met as far as what you call it, interaction and stuff like that. I done met the president of the university, and I was like this at times. I done met the mayor of the city because of, you know what I'm saying, connections and stuff like that. I done been put in positions. So I was definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, man. And to those who are to those who are wanting to get in tech, man,
That's
they don't sleep on the interpersonal skills, man. That's something. It's not the misconception of, oh, computers right here and just you right there. You need to be able to communicate the message to your team, just different things like that. What the goals are. When you get into tech software development or even cybersecurity, different things like that, you're gonna have meetings where you're talking through all these things. Okay, this is the goal. This is the framework we're working on. This is just all those different intricacies. So having those interpersonal skills are going to be very important. But going back to what Chris is saying, man, yeah, networking is going to be crucial. If you're in college, network. Even if you're not in college, go to events, go to hackathons,
right.
different things like that. Whatever you could do to get out there, Discord, right? Use different platforms. And I'm not in the industry yet, but I will be in the industry. So anyway, so take my advice right now with a grain of salt. But I'm sure Chris can vouch for me on that, most definitely. And we'll get into the whole like college boot camp right after this question. Actually, we'll start to go into the dream, man. You know what I'm saying? But to cap it off, man, with that college, what advice would you give to share on how to balance sports and college for college athletes?
Yeah, I would say, and going back to my dad, you know what I'm saying, time management. I would say that's crucial. That's especially being an athlete and stuff like that. You got, especially let's say you're an athlete and you're a college student, right? Of course. You got two full-time jobs. You know what I'm saying? With practice, you're not just practicing. You also have study hall hours in there. You're practicing for at least 2.5 hours. Um, well, it's 2.5 hours that you're logging in, but I mean, of course, you gotta go to the training room and all that. So you gotta find time to go to the training room, meeting times. So all that, man, takes well over at least 5 hours, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So time management, whatever works for you, whether it's writing stuff down, you know what I'm saying, wake up in the morning, write down your goals, you know what I'm saying, what you want to accomplish that day. And over time that stacks up, you know what I'm saying? If you have a big goal, break it down into increments. You know what I'm saying, go about it that way. I never accomplished anything just off the bat like that. It was more breaking stuff down in increments. So I would say that for sure. Go about it that way, whether it's writing it down, whether I mean now you have apps on your phone that you know what I'm saying can help you out with that, whether it's reminders, whatever the case is. So find a way that works for you. Stick with that. If you can be, if you can do be disciplined, whatever, be consistent, and you know with consistency, I mean all it is, and that's what helped me right now because life after football I want to keep working out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Jalen, I am working out. So you know what I'm saying? I want to work out and stuff. Days that when I get back from work, I'm tired. I want to sleep. I'm like, man, I ain't playing football no more. There's no reason to work out. I told myself I would work out, so don't let yourself down. You know what I'm saying? Or I ain't gonna cap this week. Tuesday I think was my off day. Um, no, Wednesday was my day to work out, something like that. And what not my bad, Monday, I think. And I was tired Monday, so I was like, all right, bet I ain't gonna work out. And Tuesday was my off day, so I was like, I'm gonna do Monday's workout Tuesday, make up for it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can be disciplined with it, be consistent, like because that's gonna build up over time. And my goal, like going back to goals and stuff like that, my goal was to work out, like not miss a day that I set for myself to work out within this month. All right, with it's a longer time, but within this month, make sure every week you meet that goal of working out X amount of days. That adds up over time. So I would say be disciplined, man. Whatever way works for you, find it, but just attack it that way.
Yeah, most definitely, man. You have to create healthy not even yeah healthy. You have to create good healthy habits, right? And I'll tell you, me, man, like I've created a great habit of where fitness is like it's second nature to me now, where it's like I have to work out. Where if I don't work out, man, I'm almost wanting to work out like 6, 7 times a week. And if I don't, I feel like my day is ruined. You know what
Right.
I mean? Because working out, it gets me more in shape. I feel like I look way better. That's giving me more confidence. That translates to outside when I'm speaking and just different things like that. Also, as well with studying, you know what I mean? And going back to the whole education never stops, you keep going, especially if you get into tech, man. You learning is always because they're gonna be like, hey, guess what? We've been using HTML, CSS, but you gotta learn PHP. Crap. Well, looks like I gotta go read a book. Looks like I gotta go take a course. Different things like that. But I've created that healthy habit of studying to where it's like if I'm in the house longer than more than like 2 hours, I get like a healthy dose of anxiety. Like, what am I doing? I need to get out of here. I need to go study. I need to go to read a book. I need to work on my podcast. But that also comes back to getting clear on your why. The the most important thing that we don't study is ourselves. If you want to hear God, be by yourself.
Yeah.
So get clear on your why. When you can get clear on your why, now it's okay, this is my why. What are the steps to get there? Okay, I want to be in tech. I want to be a software developer, right? I need to learn a web stack. I need to have hands-on projects. I need to network. These are all of these crucial things that you need to do to be successful. So hopefully that helps a little bit, you know what I mean? But let's pivot now, man, because this is where I'm really gonna get excited because you accomplished the dream. You're officially a software developer, and it's only up from here, most definitely, because I know you're just a go getter. You're in that beast mode mindset. So before we kind of get into the intricacies of the job a little bit, um, let's get into how you kind of got it, which is going to be hands-on projects, crucial, a great resume, crucial, and maybe even like recommendations you got from college, like professors or whatever the case may be, right? I'm just throwing something out there. So let's start with how did you formulate your resume to be job ready?
Right. Man, like you said, going back to networking, right? So, uh, from legit, even from high school, from like since like I said, age 12, I knew what I wanted to do, and so it was then had this big goal about how you gonna get there, right? So it's breaking increments of steps. Uh, it was looking at going on YouTube, whatever the case was, looking at life of a software developer, looking at job descriptions of a software developer, uh, so different stuff like that. Then it was as I'm going through life, whoever I meet or whatever the case is, whether it's in college or whatever, what do you want to do? This is what I want to do. Okay, this is the steps you're gonna take to get there. Okay, good. I take you know what I'm saying? If they role models or whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying, give me them their uh opinions, I'm gonna say it like that, of things to do, go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell me, hey, there's a blueprint, go ahead and accomplish that. Okay, what else do I do? What's next? I bet. Tell me, go ahead and do that. So that's basically what it's been for the most part. And also going to networking, whether it's people at my university, helping me put resumes together, reach out to them, send them to them. Hey, does this look good? Love feedback. Don't don't shy away from feedback. Um, I didn't send my resume out to people, and shout out to Mrs. Higgins. She's a career advisor at OBU, but I sent it out to her one time, and I mean, she in the nicest way. She was like, "Hey, this isn't the best. Let's redo it this way." These are templates that you could, formulate your resume and go ahead and do that. Make those corrections. Whether it was my website at the time, like the website doesn't, based on what you know and stuff, your website doesn't reflect that. So now I gotta go back. I'm like, oh shit, my website sucks. So now it's like either you're gonna be mad that someone give you the feedback, or you're gonna go fix it. So when it fixed it, made it look a little better, made it a little more readable, more interactive. So different stuff like that. You know what you want to do, and of course now into this world we have everything. You know what I'm saying, how to accomplish that. You want to be an NFL player? Okay, great. These are steps you can take. You want to be a software developer? Great. These are steps you can take. You want to be a chef? These are steps you can take. You want to be a ballet dancer? These are steps you can take. So know what you want to do and definitely break it in increments. I couldn't be a software developer after well, I could after high school, but know the path you want to take as well, and go attack that.
Dude, yeah, most definitely, bro. And in regards to, oh man, oh gosh, don't lose the thought. The thought is in my mind, dude. Hold on, Chris,
You
man.
gotta write it down.
I know, dude. I'm just so lost in the sauce. I was just taking in your gems, man. Gems on gems, dude. But yeah, feedback. There we go. All right.
Yeah,
So this is what I was gonna say. Exactly that. With feedback, guys, be coachable. Be a
right.
student of the game at all times. Be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. Because that's gonna make you better. Hey, boss, what did I do? Or hey, I reached out to Chris. Hey, man, no, we had a bomb interview, Jens on Jens. Hey, but what could I have done better? Did I miss something that could have told her story better? Guess what? That's positive feedback. Now I don't make the same mistake with the next guest. I want your feedback. You know what I mean? And once again, it's making you better. And then in terms of a corporate setting, you're taking all this feedback, you're getting better, and guess what? Now when you go to negotiate your salary, you've done all the work. Hey, I've taken all your feedback. I've done this, this, and this. This is why I deserve to get a certain amount of pay raise. This is why I need to get this, this, and this. It's easier compared to where you're just staying stable. You know
Right.
what I mean? What's that saying, Chris? It's
If you ain't
slow
grown,
feed, slow
you
feed. Is it
is
that it?
is it if you ain't growing, you going back or something like that? It's something along that
It's
line.
all of that. Yeah, it's all of that combined. Slow feet don't need just all those anything you want to put, man. So that's just some motivation for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? So
And
and we're going back. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's so important to, also have those in your corner that genuinely are for you. You know what I'm saying? Like going back to a guy like Nick, Kelly, who, I'm saying, was genuinely for what I want to accomplish, although get nothing out of it at the moment, you know what I'm saying? or now presently with my parents, or whether it's my brother AJ or my girlfriend Tania, and like knowing my goal. And sometimes they'll give me feedback, like whether it was I was applying for jobs and I was like, man, I ain't getting, like, okay, like you gonna keep crying complaining about it, or you gonna re up and, you know what I'm saying, get your resume back up. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about having those in your corner who, you know what I'm saying, are for you and gonna encourage you and give you positive feedback.
Oh man, Chris, I'm so glad you said that, man, because you just sparked something in my head that I was remembering today in regards to complaining, right? There's a song, and even if you don't know the song, you should be able to get the gist of what I'm saying. I remember from Spider-Man, it's raindrops keep falling on my head. But basically the line was I can't um I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, meaning if you're like, man, I'm about to go on a date today. I'm so excited. Rain starts coming down. You're like, oh my gosh, you start getting frustrated. Guess what? If you complain, is it gonna stop? No. And that's the same thing with life.
Right.
Complaining is gonna get you nowhere. So instead of complaining, what? Take action. So
Yep.
I wanted to throw some gems. That's a free game for y'all for not, it should be 9.99, but that's a free game. But in terms of uh in terms of do's and don'ts of resumes that you can remember or possibly can provide, what are some do's and don'ts? And this is specifically for maybe you can play other things, but more of developers.
Yeah, I would say, for the most part, our resume kind of the same, at least that I've seen. But I would say, do's and don'ts. At the very header, try to put your contact information and stuff like that, email, you know what I'm saying, phone number. And then you can go into, well, one of the mistakes I made was put my education right after that. That should be your experience. So for the most part, most of these jobs, not a real person is saying your resume at first, right? It goes to a system, AI is reading it, going through it. So it's looking for keywords. So, you know what I'm saying, put your experience, and then right after that, put your um, education or skills, and then you can put education, because they're within their job description, they're trying to match to see if you have that in yours. So if they keep going down, they're not seeing it till, you know what I'm saying, you put your experience at the very last. If it gets to a certain place, it could get rid of it, you know what I'm saying? So just a little way to format your resume. So contact first, foremost, your name, maybe in bold font, and then go experience after that, then put your skills. So that would be stuff as interpersonal communication, you know what I'm saying? Um, Typing skills, or you know what I'm saying, languages that you're proficient in, especially for specifically for software developers or data science or anything within IT world. Um, whether it's IT or other professions as well, put that skill that's required for that. And then, you know what I'm saying, put education after that. Then maybe some may require you to, you know what I'm saying, put what you're about um, on there. So for the most part, I think that's it. Try not to make it too long. I also had a problem with that as well. Mine was because everything I had on there, man, mine came to like 2 or 3 pages or something. And I was like, okay, there's some stuff I gotta take out. Stuff like, you know what I'm saying, I worked at the YMCA, didn't put that on my resume because there's no, you know what I'm saying, no relevancy. Um, so for the most part, if I want to go into IT, I had my internship on there. I had, you know what I'm saying, jobs that I've gotten that dealt somehow, some way with IT. So basically, style your resume to the job you're trying to get for sure. Whether it's my girl uh, going to physical therapy, saying so, she would have, whether it's her, of course, playing. Uh, um, part-time job that she had that alludes to that. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's coaching, because that also relates to, you know what I'm saying, sports, injuries, stuff like that. So basically know what you want to do and tailor your resume in that way. But for sure, the format should be um, try to match your job description. Even sometimes key pointers, free game. I went on the job description of the job I was trying to get, and you know what I'm saying, put what's in the job description. If I feel like I got that, put it on your resume, because if you're going through their system, they're gonna be scanning it, and the higher your score is on that detection system, the more likely at least a person is to look at your resume. So definitely that's the next step I picked up on doing.
Yeah, man. Like as y'all just heard, classes in session, man. Y'all better be taking them notes down, man, because I know I am. I'm trying to get a job ready, player. You know what I mean? And in terms of interview prep, how were you preparing? Was it researching the companies you were applying for to get that knowledge that way they're like, oh wow, this guy actually took the time to research about the company, maybe reading, a comic book that's thrown around through developers specifically is cracking the code interview book. What were you doing to get job to get interview ready?
Yeah, specifically for me, it was more of reading up on the company a little bit. One of the best interview I had, and one of the reasons I made their short list was because I researched stuff about the company and told them, the type of devices they worked on and why they worked on it to, what I'm saying, how the developer came into it. And one of the things they told me was like, wow, we actually didn't have anyone in this interview process that did that. That's one of the reasons we made our short list after our last interview. So knowing stuff about the company definitely gonna go in your favor for sure. Knowing what you put on your resume too, being able to talk about it. One of the other projects I got on there is basically communicating with APIs, with Twitter API, and basically being able to code that through Python. So why did you work on this project? What does it mean to you? So being able to talk about what you actually put on your resume, um, little stuff like, I'm saying, definitely don't go to a job interview with jeans and stuff like that. Try to be as professional as you can. Uh, I, Using big words and stuff, man, not really. Like some of the interviewers recruiters and stuff I work with, I'm gonna never use big words, you know what I'm saying? So don't spend so much time freaking out about that. Know what's on your resume. Be ready to talk about it. Be ready to talk about yourself, why you're passionate, why you want that job, skills that you have, you feel like you contribute to make that company better, because that's what it's about. They ain't gonna bring you on if you ain't gonna make them better, if you ain't gonna, have productivity. So all these things I think would definitely help a person looking for whatever job. And I'm trying not to narrow it to software development because, of course, people listening to this aren't always software developers, but for sure, those are all just things that will help you in whatever job.
Most definitely, and you have to be yourself. Once you start not being yourself in the interview, people can see that right clearly through you. Like this guy's trying to use big words, and you can tell he's just not being himself. So be yourself. Do not fake it till you make it, because especially in those kind of interviews, if you don't know the answer to the question, just be honest. But if you're trying to like give a fake, like oh, like I know it answer, that's going to be a turnoff right there. You know what I mean? So don't fake it to make it. For instance, in the military, if they ask me a question about some, uh, what is it, whatever, some battles or something, and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna be like, Sergeant, I don't know, I don't have the answer to that, but I will get that answer for you. And then sure enough, I go back and hey, Sergeant, I got the answer for you.
Right.
And maybe if you do that, that'll be like, dang, like he came back and told me, even if he didn't get the job, like, oh, hey, like I told you I was going to do this and I delivered on my word.
Nice.
So once again, I'm not in the industry. I'm just trying to throw my 2 cents into it.
No,
So maybe that helps.
that shows initiative for real, like you said. You know what I'm saying? There have been times where even when I was interviewing, you know what I'm saying, like I didn't know something, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know SQL at the time. And have you ever worked with SQL? Straight up said nope. I haven't. But I have worked with this that's similar to this, right? So although you may always not have some, divert it if something is similar to that. Or what I told them is, although I don't know SQL, I can learn it quickly, right? And now I know where I can be able to program with it and stuff like that. Have you ever worked with Visual Studio? No, I've worked with Visual Studio Code, but not Visual Studio. I can learn Visual Studio on the fly, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So showing that, hey, I don't have this, but I'm capable of doing this. So you're
That's perfect. And that's a good example of thinking on your feet right there, offering alternatives if alternatives can be offered, meaning have a system in place that I use that helps me to learn a new language, a new framework, a new code editor. That's perfect. That's exactly how I would say, or I would recommend to people too. That's exactly how you do it. So take that from Chris too. But cool, man. Let's now getting into the job offer and then just kind of capping it off a little bit of advice, a little more advice you could pass on to others in regards to the industry itself. My first question, of course, is going to be just how awesome is that feeling when you got the freaking job?
Man, that was actually it also ties into my faith, you know what I'm saying? Like, because after graduating, I was striking out. There's some places that I really thought I was gonna get that job, and for whatever reason, I didn't. Especially in software development, it's a little harder to get into, of course, because at this time, a lot of people getting laid off, right? So you have people coming from somewhere else with 10 years of experience, and you have this junior developer coming in. Who you gonna take? You know what I'm saying? The person with 10 years of experience. Um, but how my faith ties into this, and this goes back to having that support system around you. I mean, I was on the phone with my brother AJ, AJ, my other brother James, um, my other siblings on my dad's side, and kind of just talking, hey, this is where I am with it, you know what I'm saying? Like different advice or other close people around me. And also my girl, like she gonna hear me like be a baby a lot. Like, hey, striking out here, this, that, and actually the job I got right now, she actually encouraged me to apply over here because of course I didn't want to be in Milwaukee. Um, I definitely want to go back down south, but she's kind of, hey, you're striking out a lot of places. Don't give up on it. What if maybe put something in over there and put some 2 places over here and got called for one of them. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that goes back into my faith in that like I said, I was applying so much down south, and one time I gotta tell the story because I promised Jesus I'd be like I gotta give you glory for it. So uh, I told him I was like, hey, this is what I want, but you know what you want for me. So it's kind of like what I'm saying, me in the forest, right? I can see the view, but he has the bird eye view of that forest. You see where the path is. So although I'm seeing this and I want this, he has the bigger picture. So I was like, hey, I surrender it to you. I want to be down south, but if you got another plan for me, hey, I would love that. I respect that. I honor that. I give the glory for it. So took a leap of faith. I was working at Amazon warehouse at the time, so I was like, hey, I'm done here. I don't want to work here anymore. I'm gonna go chill with my girl a little bit, and by the time I come back, I have faith that I will have a job. And quit. Of course, I didn't. I still didn't have a job. I still had a few interviews lined up, and I told Jesus, I'm like, hey, I'm saying, I'm driving down, and please give me a sign. I'm saying, not just some sign that I can't tell. Give me a direct sign. And I'm like, I want to either an email that I got a job or a phone call. And like I said, around like 11 p.m. or 3 a.m., something like that, when I was driving to go down. And by 11 a.m., actually, I think I was in Kansas or something at the time. I got a call for this job, offering me the job. Like, hey, because I had an interview that Thursday before I left, and they called me like, hey, we want to offer you this job. I was like, because I just asked him for a sign, right? I just asked him, I want either an email or a phone call, and being able to get that, I was like, man, it's like, thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, to you be the glory. So for me, it was also having that relationship, the same way I have a relationship with you, Ryan, the same way I have a relationship with my parents. Like, hey, this is what I want. Although, what I'm saying, this is your plan. I'll surrender it to you, but this is what I want. But if you know better for me, I don't know why, because I'm just here driving the car, but you have the wheel. Like, so it's having faith in that way. So that's kind of how that, I'm saying, that job came about.
Oh man, yeah, that's super powerful, man. Amen to that. And you've heard stories like that where they released it to God, and wow, man, that's inspiring, man. That just motivates me even more. And sorry if the screen is full of gems right now. Y'all can't see Chris, but I'll try to get it out. I'll try to edit that out. Just full of gems on the screen right now.
Is
But
there anything I can do? Is it?
nah, just that's no, just on a joke, like because he was
I'm
going on.
dead. Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
he's got jams going on, man. Man,
Man.
I can't. Ooh, I can't wait to upload this episode, man. But all right, cool, man. What's a typical, as I know you just kind of got into it stuff, but what's a typical day for you as a software developer?
Man, I'm thankful, man. One of the things that, going back to knowing what I want and stuff like that, one of the things that made me get into the job is at the time I was like, okay, do I want to go into, because computer science is an umbrella term. So I was like, do I want to go into hardware or software? You know what I'm saying? Hardware, it's not as much opportunity there and stuff like that for growth. And hardware is basically like installing parts onto computers, you know what I'm saying? The hard drive or motherboard, stuff like that. That's the hardware part. Software is basically the programming or data and analytics, different stuff like that, mobile development, different stuff like that. So I was like, bet I want to go into software. So once I got into software, I was like, I really like web development and data science type stuff. And then I saw mobile. Mobile is basically web, but of course on a smaller screen. So and also saying, I ain't gonna cap pay, uh, advancement opportunities, um, lifestyle stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So life in a day in a life, man, is I'm pretty blessed. Just got into this. This is probably my second week on the job. Um, I could work from home if I want. Like literally yesterday, I was messing with my dad. I was like, Dad, I'll flip a coin. Do I want to go into the office or just roll out of my bed and work and work? You know what I'm saying? So work that flexibility to either work from home or go in the office. I did choose to go in the office. Um, but I also love learning about something that I'm very passionate about. So so for instance, yesterday was probably one of my most exciting days. Got up, we start work at 8 or whatever the case is. Some people on my team log on at 8, some don't. And then basically I go try to get to the office by 8 a.m. around there, check my emails real quick, see what the day is looking like, check my outlook and my schedule and stuff like that. We have stand-ups. I think Sergeant talked about stand-up a little bit. I don't remember. But basically, you meet with your teams and talk about what you did the day previous and what you're doing today and stuff like that. Whether if you have any hiccups along the way, if someone else could help you out, whatever the case is. Had that. There's a project we're working on to update a page. Talked about that, how we're going to get it done. After that, you and the person that's working on it or working on it yourself, you get to, you know what I'm saying, you get on that. You need help, get on that. So I was working with another very senior developer, um, shadow a little bit, and then I was able to get in on the action programmed. Um, took lunch break and chill out, and you know what I'm saying, like I ain't really do nothing else for like 2 or 3 hours. So just chill on my laptop, learning a little more while on the job. So definitely, I think it was very rewarding, and that's kind of how dating life is. And then after that, just when it worked out, I know I posted it on my snap. When it worked out, because there's a gym there, and then came home after that. So
Ooh, man. Yeah, man. This is just the interview I needed, man, to motivate me, man. I've already been motivated enough, but
back.
if that was one way to kick me in overdrive.
And
That
if
was
y'all
just the
don't
way to
know,
do it.
like Brian, I talked a little while back about him getting into software development and stuff and web development. And I told him about HTML stuff, and this dude just went and picked it up. You know what I'm saying? Next thing I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? He programming stuff and posting it. I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of dude you are, bro. So man, big ups to you for that, because taking initiative, like, you know what I'm saying? And so big ups to Ryan for that. Like he's a self learner, and even starting this podcast, we talked about it in the past, and that's a dream, and should keep working on it. Is getting better and better.
Most definitely, man. Appreciate that. Most definitely. And yeah, man, just turning dreams into reality. You know,
Yeah,
not talking about it, being about it, going back to that beast mode mentality. And I'm gonna take your approach too on the whole on faith and just leave it up to God,
yeah,
asking him, hey, what do you want? What do you want from me? Not about what I want. And what he wanted from me in this current time in my life is, hey, post these, start a podcast, host these awesome conversations, and just continue to grow, grow, grow. Oh, and hey, at the same time, I want you to focus on your career, and I want you to get into the industry, and I
Right.
want you to continue to impact. Um, now I want to go too big on attention on myself, but yeah, that's just a little inside of myself, man. And I'm even thinking about honestly like starting like a separate YouTube channel, not to like really like bring up or anything, but to document my journey one.
Mhm.
So documenting what I'm doing because I'm learning IT information technology a little bit through a course. But as you've seen through some posts I've had, I'm also learning a web stacks, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, creating projects. And I think there's power in showing in telling uh what's or yeah, telling what you're learning because
Right.
it's showing that one you care
Right.
and just all documenting that journey of all your mistakes and all your successes. And if employers look at that, they're like, damn, like this guy is taking time out of his day to record him like basically going through what he's learning. So I was thinking about that, but yeah, so just to cap off with in regards to that aspect too. Um, Going more into advice for aspiring developers, including myself, man. So I use resources like Codecademy, books, Dash Assembly, just other things like that. Is there any resources that you use that you can share for others so that they can use those as well?
Yeah, for sure. Code Academy is a great, place, a great resource. Use that for sure. Stack Overflow, man, you definitely gonna get into that. You got to. Um, W3 School, for sure. So search that on Google. That's a great, even now, I'm saying, like I was saying earlier, senior developer I was working with, we went on W3 School to know some tag and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely those are all resources for sure that I think will definitely get you there. And one thing I do is I try not to waste, um, brain power, whatever the case is. So even my social media on Instagram, whatever the case is, when there's a post, I have a whole folder of posts that alludes to HTML or, I have a web dev uh bookmark or whatever I create. So if I see a post that alludes to that and traits or whatever the case is, projects that could be worked on, I go ahead and save it there, later go back through it and work on it, whatever, try to work on it. So, those are different resources that you definitely can get to, and definitely YouTube for sure. Get on YouTube because you can teach yourself a whole new language on YouTube, which I did
Gotcha,
for.
man. Yeah, and for those who, because you were blessed to go to a 4 year college that really sets you up for success. But for someone who doesn't have that opportunity, should they, if you're able to write, and if this is of course is in your opinion, right? So take it a grain, people like take it with a grain of salt, right? So, anyways, would you recommend they go to a boot camp or just go the self-taught route?
Man, like you said, my opinion's a grain of salt. So find a way that works for you, financially, time. Never know. I never know what you listening to this, going through in life. So find whatever works for you. I would say. I was fortunate, like you said, for me it was university route, but it was also some self learning in there. You know what I'm saying? So find a way that works for you. I spoke to someone. I don't even know where he lives. I reached out to him on Instagram because he's in software development, and he told me he's a self learner, and he landed a job as a self started as a self learner and as a software developer. He landed a job. Um, in boot camp, people have had success with that as well. So find the way that works for you in whatever situation you're in, and but know that when you get into it, definitely effort is what you can give, you can control. So for sure.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Chris is saying, it's also gonna depend on whether you're very disciplined, because with self-taught, you need to be disciplined. And on top of that, you need to be able to structure properly because you're basically creating your own curriculum.
Right.
Meaning, okay, for today, I'm learning HTML, I'm learning this topic, like basically setting deadlines. Okay, I'm learning this web stack, and then next month I'm creating projects, and then next month I'm applying for jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So that's also going to be the factor in it too. You know what I mean? But it's a great option if you don't want to break the bank. You know, it's hard, yes, to be disciplined and put yourself in that mode of study. But I promise, if that's what you want to get into, it'll be well worth it. As you've heard already, Chris, talk about the benefits of being in web development, flipping a coin. He's like, "Hey, Dad, should I freaking roll out of bed or stay in, or you know what I mean, or go to the office?" So the possibilities are endless, man. But I'm gonna end it with this last question in regards to this, which is I have to ask because it's a hot topic right now. In your opinion, are you afraid AI will take over developer jobs, or do you feel they'll provide more developer jobs?
I definitely don't think it'll take over. I think it's an assist. Um, you know, yeah, it ain't gonna take over for sure. Because AI can only do so much. Developer always needed to implement those AIs in program to basically enhance what we create. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely. I don't think it'll take over for sure. I think it'll definitely just help us and assist in that regard.
Ooh, man, yeah, I know that's a hot topic, and whenever I bring my boy
Right,
Armand,
right.
my boy Armand's going to be on. He's a software engineer. I'm gonna get his opinion on it too, man, because that's a hot topic. And for those who are watching, man, that want to be developers and are scared of that, I mean, hey, if it's your passion, get into it. I promise, once you get into the industry, you could pivot. There's a lot of people who go from software to cyber. There's maybe even scenarios where some people go from cyber to software to engineering. There's a lot of different roles. I mean, you just got to adjust with the times that are going. So there's so many possibilities. Just like Chris was saying, right? Computer science is an umbrella. There's many things. It's the same thing in tech. It's an umbrella. There's so many DevOps, system admin. There's a bunch of things that you can get into that you didn't think you were interested in,
Right.
but once you research it, once you watch videos on it, you're like, oh man, like actually like this a lot more than development. I actually like this a lot more than security.
Oh,
So, man, possibilities are endless, man. Tech is awesome. That's all I gotta say about that. But, whoa, man, that concludes the episode for Chris, aka Beast Mode, man. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. It was definitely a pleasure having my boy Chris on. I'm hoping seeing the trials, tribulations that Chris went through and the power of his faith inspired you. So I just ask guys that y'all can please like, subscribe, share. That way I can continue to do this. And more importantly than on top of me continue to do this, is to be able to spread these stories that can continue to look back on throughout, even once we're gone. These are very important stories. These have meaning behind it. They have inspiration, and they also have guidance that you just got as we're talking through development. So please like, subscribe, and share. All you have to do is literally click a button. It's
yeah.
that simple. That's it. But any final thoughts you got, Chris?
Man, I would just say, man, I appreciate you doing this for real. Like I said, we've been talking about it for a minute. And quick shout out to all my